Hello, welcome to Shad Life. Well, I'm up here in Cuyuna for the 4th of July weekend. Haven't been coming up here as regularly because I sold my property up here, but I still like to come up here, so I still do. But I'll be here for 4 days. There is some rain coming. Huge surprise there this year, right? Rain, whatever. But I'm gonna beat the rain. I'm gonna ride this Portsmouth mine. This is where dragline is, and this part of dragline is super fun. And much of the other stuff is pretty fun. Right in here is where I crashed really bad one couple of years ago and ended up getting stitches in my elbow. Kind of funny. I'll probably ride this section today, but I'll remember it's kind of a fast downhill, and there was a rock kind of just to the right of the trail that my pedal hit and just made me high side. It was a pretty big slam, actually. But yeah, I'll do that line and some other stuff, and then I'm gonna head over and do the Switchback trail and stuff, which is the next lake over. So yeah, it's not gonna be a super long ride, but it'll be a fun ride. POV today, just because I don't want to stop and set up camera for some stuff that isn't really that exciting. But yeah, this is these two loops are probably some of the least familiar for most people. Mahnomen Unit, which is over there, has like winds and bobsled, and people always go over there. And then people go over to the Mahnomen Unit, which is further over here, and that's what's got galloping goose and all of that. And then Sagamore is the area that was right by where my property was, which used to be right around there. Super fun stuff there. But these two middle areas tend to be least used. Not sure why. It just doesn't have a direct trailhead. Plus, it's mostly just, XC trail and stuff, and and it's not wide and well groomed like Galloping Goose and stuff. So I like these trails over here. They're a little bit more raw, and you get over to dragline, it's super fun and flowy. So yeah, let's hit them. So I haven't really ridden this bike up here that much because I just got the bike in the spring, and I did bring it up once and I rode Bison Run, and this bike did great on Bison Run because that trail has a little bit of everything, but it's definitely got some fun little jumps and jump line stuff, and a couple of faster downhill sections, rock garden, downhill, all that. This bike handled that stuff like a dream. But over here, more your typical single track. It's kind of cool because this trail, you're getting views of the lake, and sometimes I like to just ride, not push it super heavy. There's the lake, and just enjoy being out here. And I feel like there's a lot of people that don't ride like that. They just ride to constantly be pushing as hard as they can. And I do that sometimes, but I also love just going at a nice, comfortable cruising pace and enjoying being out here in nature and enjoying the sights, and make sure I look around once in a while rather than just focus on a hammer fest or something, right? So this is super enjoyable. So it is one aspect of mountain biking. It doesn't always have to be aggro jumps, pushing as hard as you can go, going as fast as you can. It could just be to get outside and be in nature and enjoy it. All right, Man-High Hill. So there's a big climb, but before you get to the climb, there's this downhill, and this is where I crashed pretty bad. Right in here somewhere, there's like a rock that I hit my pedal on, and I still haven't figured out how I hit my pedal on it, but I did, and it launched me sideways off my bike. Yeah, oh, I think I might have just saw the rock. Yep, because here's the climb. Yeah, the rock's back there. It's like sticking up on the right side. And that day, I was hauling super fast. Today, I took it kind of casual. All right, let's get this climb done. Oh, there we go. That was it. Oh, rock to rim. What's cool about this whole area up here in Cuyuna is, like, over here there's a campground, and if you camp there, you literally just ride right onto the trails from your campsite. And they also have the beach, a campground over on the other side called True North Base Camp, and then where I'm staying this weekend, Red Rider Resort, which is just on the west side of the Yaki unit. That you can ride onto the trail. So all these little places you can stay. There's a place called Cuyuna Cove, I think, also camp or cabin, and there's a couple of yurts. I mean, it just goes on. And all these places you can stay where you just ride right onto the trails. You don't have to drive somewhere and park to go ride your bike. So that's what makes a place like this super awesome. Similar to like Bentonville, right? Like Bentonville, you can get a Airbnb or a place to stay right in town, and boom, you can just jump right on the trail. So I'm halfway around Portsmouth. There's a little trail that takes me over to the Switchback, which is across the road. So I'm gonna go hit that and then do that loop, and then it brings me right back here, and then I can finish this. It's funny that I say Portsmouth because I'm pronouncing it mouth, but it's probably pronounced Portsmouth. Right? Portsmouth mind. I love how I just say it like it's spelled. There we go. We're gonna go over there, then we'll hit this part of Dragline on the way back. This part is my favorite part all through here. So now we're cruising on the other side. I want to say that this part is Galloping Goose. And when you get on the other side of the lake, they call it Switchback. And Galloping Goose is green, so beginner level. Switchbacks is intermediate, which is still pretty easy. I like some of these parts of the trail because of all the pines. So cool. Smells good too. See all the pine needles all over the ground. And then this is gonna pop us into the trailhead over here. We go right. They call this the Rally Center. This is like the main trailhead of all of the trails. So the Skills Park is right over there. up in the hill there. I'll hit that sometime this weekend, but I'm not gonna hit it today because I want to just chill. But yeah, after riding this paved trail through the trailhead or rally center, you get here and you take a right and you can see the sign Switchback Trail. And so here we are right at the start of the switchbacks to go back. So I'm about halfway through this entire ride and I've gone about 4.1 miles. So this part gets a little climby, and guess what? Switchbacky, like this, right up here. There's a lot of switchbacks in this side of the lake. So one of the harder switchbacks is coming up right up here. I actually did a how-to on it a couple of summers ago, I think, explaining how to do a switchback climb. If I remember right, I did a downhill one too, which is on Galloping Goose in another part of the trail system. But this tight one right here is one where I talk about bring your front wheel wide to the outside. No problem. And a lot of people get hung up on that, you know, because they try to take it to the inside and not wide to the outside. All right, more climbing. Kind of washed out on the inside back there. Wasn't expecting that. Here's some like switchback berm downhill slide. So same thing, I go wide and then come to the inside. Oh, wet. Don't want to slip out in mud. So, because there we go. Well, because I don't ride up here all the time anymore, I forget about all these little rocks. And what happens, especially when you're railing turns, they're kind of like marbles. And so it doesn't really matter how good your tires are. You kind of slide out on them where they roll underneath your tires. And you just gotta always be prepared for that. Unlike regular dirt where you usually can just rail it really hard and it'll stick. Here you'll find those spots and they'll break loose on you, like right there a little bit. Which is fine as long as you're like aware of it and prepared for it and okay with a little two-wheel drifting from time to time. Sure, lower tire pressure would help too. We run 21 front, 24 back. Now I hear a rock in the back. There it goes. Just got dislodged. So there, I finished that loop. Now back across over to Dragline. Alright, this stretch of trail is pretty fun. This part here pretty mellow, and it's near the lake up here. But then there's this section you pop back out onto the paved trail for like just a brief moment and then back in, and then it gets pretty fun and flowy in there. But here's a good lake view over here on the right. Yep. Let this guy pass since I'm talking. And so just a fun little flowy trail. And the true north base camp is just across the lake, and if you stay there you can just pop right onto this trail and get into the whole system from there. So here's the part where you have to go out onto the paved trail because the lake is right there. And we dive back in here, and once I get to the spot I'll show you where the little offshoot is for True North Base Camp. And there's also an offshoot for going into town, Crosby. If you wanted to just go into town while you're out biking, grab something to eat, something like that, you can. I believe, yep, it's right up here. So right here you can go into Crosby. I also thought this was the way you get to True North, but actually I don't think that's the case. I think True North entrance and exit is on the trail before we pop out on the bike path, and I do think I blew past that and didn't quite notice it. It's not like a super well marked thing because you really should only know about it if you're camping there. So cool. But this will take you right into town if you want to get a snack or something like that. But I'm gonna go left and continue riding the trail. I did most of the climbing. There'll be a little bit left, but the trail gets pretty fun and flowy up here. Yeah. Good stuff. Okay, well apparently the way back is shorter than the way out because I'm at 6.9 miles. Probably be at 7 by the time I get to the other side here. I started right up there. So yeah, that is Portsmouth and Switchbacks. Good stuff. Okay, there you have it. This over here is the entrance to the Recounting Unit. So that's all this stuff here. This is the area where there's winds, which is that fun jump line. You got to work for it because you got to climb all the way to the top. That full downhill jump line, and then bobsled, which is also in that area, which is also one you have to work for and climb. And you can bomb down that downhill. Manual drive, those are like some of my three favorite trails. I'd say of all my favorite trails in Cuyuna would be winds, bobsled, manual drive, and then way over here in the Sagamore Unit would be Bison Run. Those are my favorite trails in all of Cuyuna, and there's some other really good ones, but those are like my tops. Sweet. I appreciate your support from my channel. Please like and subscribe. Peace.